Hi, it's Jan Beta, and today is going to be a bit of a surprise because it's not a Commodore 64 video. It is something completely, well, not quite completely, but it's different. This is going to be a special one for me because I never had the system that I'm about to show you here myself, but the kid in the neighborhood had it. One of my best friends in the neighborhood had exactly this computer, which is this thing here, which is the Commodore 128. It was meant to be the successor of the Commodore 64 back in the day. And it's a pretty special computer because it has basically it's 3 computers in one. So this is hello? Yeah, it's Jan Beta. Hey Chris, hi. I can't really talk at the moment because I'm in the middle of making a new YouTube video. No, it's not a Commodore 64 video. No, it's a bit of a surprise. Yeah, it's pretty close, but something completely different. So I can, of course. Dear viewers, Chris wants me to say hi and point you to his channel. He's doing quite the same stuff that I do. You're doing a lot of Commodore 64 videos, so you are doing the same stuff. And repairs and fun stuff, music. The ringtone. Chris also has the ringtone you just heard is Commodore made on Commodore 64 by Chris, who's also known as Perifractics Retro Recipes. I hope I pronounced that correctly. I'm not a native speaker, as you might have guessed. Gonna link you to that video where he has the ringtone on sale. No, I'm gonna call you back later. Absolutely. Okay, no, I can't really. No, sorry, Chris. No, I can't really. I need to make this video. I haven't even opened up the computer yet. I haven't even opened up the computer yet. No, I'm gonna call you back later. Sorry. Thanks. You too. Bye. Sorry about that. That was Chris. You should really check out his channel. Linked here and down below and everywhere. He's become quite a friend, and he does very nice impersonations of me all the time. So definitely check him out. And he's also a Jedi. So here it is, the Commodore 128, which was meant to be the successor to the Commodore 64, kind of. And at the time it was pretty difficult. I think it was conceived in 1984, when CP/M was a big thing, and Commodore wanted to bring a better Commodore 64, but at the same time they wanted to be compatible with the CP/M world. And have 80 columns display, which is built in here. At the same time, they wanted this to be fully compatible with the Commodore 64 because there was a large software base, and they also wanted their own native Commodore 128 mode, which is basically a Commodore 64, but a lot more powerful with a better BASIC, which was needed because the Commodore 64 basically, see what I did there? Basically sucked because it was very basic. See what I did there again? Sorry. So this basically is 3 computers in one computer in this nice looking little case. Got this off eBay for I think around 30 euros or something, which is hilariously cheap for a unit like this. Looks pretty nice from the outside. Some scratches, some marks. Looks to be some liquid damage here maybe. It's a bit yellowed, but I'm gonna handle that in a later video, I guess. This video is to have a look inside and see if I can see any faults. Haven't powered this on. It's in an unknown condition, so I've never opened up a Commodore 128. I've seen one. My neighbor had one that we only used in Commodore 64 mode, as I think most Commodore 128s were used in Commodore 64 mode most of the time, or exclusively, because there was so little software for the 128 mode back in the day, and this was pretty short-lived. A little later, the Amiga came and was the true successor to the Commodore 64 in spirit. So yeah, I'm basically going to open this up and have a look inside and see if I can see anything that's burned or broken right away, and have a little tour. So this should be pretty close to an Amiga 500 case that I have opened up before. So I have to turn this around. And there's 2 screws in the back here. There's 1 screw in the middle, and there's 3 screws here. And there seems to be quite some sprinkles here from some liquid damage. Hopefully it's not bad inside, so let's see what there's in there. A smaller screwdriver. We should be able to just open this. So, we should of course remove all the screws. The one on the left or the one in the middle there. Okay, it's been a pretty tough day at work today, so I'm pretty exhausted. I'm sorry about any stupidities I do here. This is just a cheap spudger tool that came with a phone battery or something like that. So it should just lift off some mild force here. Yep. So, there we go. Okay, and here's a little grounding screw, which is pretty interesting. Remove that, so we probably can remove the whole keyboard here. So it's all the same screws. So, and it's a Mitsumi keyboard, as it says on the sticker here. It's pretty similar to the ones in the Amiga and in the Commodore 64. I think it's more similar to the Commodore 64, considering this is the shift lock and there's some other keys there that you can select the modes with. The ASCII DIN mode and the 40 and 80 column display. You can switch, and the shift lock. The funny thing is it has a full Commodore 64 keyboard with the cursor keys, and it also has dedicated cursor keys. So it's pretty interesting. It's a pretty monstrous hybrid of a computer. Okay, so there's this little metal tab thingies here around the front edge of the shielding here. The design is quite nice because it also has the whole shield also acts as a heatsink, so this is pretty well engineered. There's some very famous people that have worked on this, like Bill Hurd, Dave Haney, who became one of the key engineers for the Amiga, for the later Amiga models. And Bill Hurd is famous for designing the Commodore 16 and the Commodore 128, and also the Commodore Plus 4, The old 264 series was Bill Hurt's baby. And he's also still pretty active in the maker scene, I think. So, aha, there we are. Oh, and I see some mods right away, I think. There's an EEPROM in there. And this is, I think, is one of the factory mods. This, I'm not too sure about. Might also be a factory mod. There's an empty socket. And there's, oh man. So, yeah. Okay. Let's have a sneak peek under here. Wow, there's some additional mods there. That's a graphics booster, it seems. Okay, so this card here says T Geiger CH and graphic booster 128. So there's probably some kind of graphic booster. And there's a socket here which somehow connects to here. So maybe this chip is missing on purpose. There's also some EEPROM replacements chips here, which I don't know what they are. Here's some more familiar stuff. There's our SID chip. There's our 6526 CIA, I think, complex interface adapter. So these are the same chips as in the Commodore 64. So I think this is our processor. Yeah, that's an 8502, which is a derivative of the 6510, I believe, which runs at a higher speed. And this is our Z80 CPU, which is also in here for the CPM mode that this has. So, right, this is our memory. And if you are familiar with the Commodore 64 architecture, then you should know that there are 8 of these chips in the Commodore 64, which gives it 64 kilobytes of memory. And in this one, there's, ta-da, 16. So it gives a total of 128 kilobytes of memory, which this was advertised as. It's pretty interesting, I guess, to find out what the add-on card is. So I'm going to ask Google about it and then tell you guys. So, and it seems like the graphic booster 128, which supposedly is this thing, is a graphic enhancement for the Commodore 128. Surprise. It has 7020 by 700 pixels resolution. You can have 2 displays. TV has 80 color display for graphics. You can have graphics in the 80 column display, which wasn't normal. Many new graphics command. There's a basic extension, and that was probably the EEPROM that was in there. So this is pretty interesting stuff. It's pretty nice thing. And I also found the original manual, graphic booster by Combo, it seems. Don't know. So this is the German manual because the creator of this thing came from Switzerland. And here's our instructions on how to get this into the Commodore 128. And as you can see, U36 is the socket that's empty. And I learned from this that it's it is empty on a stock 128. It's the kind of an expansion port to have another system on an EEPROM there, stuff like that. There were various extensions. And there's an EEPROM in U34, which I guess normally is our basic ROM, which is replaced by an enhanced basic. So and this is our little circuit board that's inserted on the graphics chip. So yeah, I think this is exactly the mod that we are seeing here. This is our little mod wire. So it seems to be the graphic booster 128 that is in our 128 here. Interesting stuff. I hope it works so we can check it out. So then here's the mod. Yeah, it's exactly as described in the manual. There's a little socket and there's our extra EEPROM. There's another mod. It seems there's another kernel in here which says C128 kern GR. Maybe it's a German kernel, because this has a German localized keyboard with the umlauts on it. Maybe this is a localized kernel, I'm not too sure. And there's another mod down here, which is, I don't know what it is. It seems to be another EEPROM on a little circuit board that has some... it seems to be, it might be the character ROM. It says CHR. Maybe this was modded to be the German character ROM to have the umlauts. Okay, so our MOS 315079001 indeed seems to be the German character ROM for the Commodore 128. So somebody modded the German ROM on there, I guess. And the little circuit board underneath here is just an adapter to make a 28-pin EEPROM compatible with the 24-pin socket, I guess. Seems like it. There's no reason why this wouldn't work, so I'm probably gonna leave it in there for now. I'm gonna Google the other chip up there too, but that's probably the German kernel version. And it indeed is the DIN kernel, which is the German kernel version. So yeah, most likely this Commodore 128 was modded to be the German version. Maybe it was another version before, or the unlocalized version without the umlauts on the keyboard and stuff like that. So this was probably modded by the previous owner to be the German version, basically, which came out a bit later, I guess. I think initially the Commodore 128 that came to the German market wasn't localized for Germany, so it had the American keyboard layout. So while this thing has been heavily modded, and yeah, there's our graphics booster in there and our German mod, there's no reason why this wouldn't work from my first observations here. There's no blown up parts or anything like that. It seems to be alright. Problem is, I don't have a power supply for this. So the next project is gonna be to build a power supply for this, which is going to be a separate video because it's going to take a while, I guess. And I won't fit it in this video. This is just a first look at this beautiful machine. So I think what I'm going to do is to call it a day for now and leave you with this view of this board. I'm probably going to build a power supply first to be able to test this. The power supply is pretty close to the Commodore 64 power supply, but it uses the square DIN plug, the same plug as the Amiga 500s use, and later Amiga models like the 600 and the 1200. They all use the 5-pin square DIN connector. This uses 9 volts AC and 5 volts DC, like the Commodore 64, but the 5 volts needs at least 2.5 ampere, which neither the original Commodore 64 power supply, which is at around 1.5 or 1.7 ampere, depending on the generation, nor my self-made Commodore 64 supply, which is rated at 2 amperes, they can't deliver 2.5 amperes, which the original power supply is rated at. So I'm going to make something with 3 ampere, I guess, in the next video, or in one of the next videos. Probably going to take a while to build this, so I'm going to make that a separate video. Long story short, this is our video for now. This is my Commodore 128 that I scored at eBay. I hope it works. Cross your fingers. See you in the next video, where we are going to build a power supply for this to be able to test it. So stay tuned for more. Hope you liked this. Hope you subscribe to my channel. Hope you check out my other videos. I hope you check out my Patreon page, which I'm going to link in there. There's going to be special behind the scenes stuff there pretty soon, and I'm also doing kind of a vlog thing there. There's not much on there yet, but it's going to be more in the future. I'm still in the process of moving stuff and organizing my life around this new flat and the new lab that this is. So thank you to the people who supported me over the past month. So hope you stay tuned for more. Hope to see you all pretty soon. I'm Jan Beta. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.